Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was created in the relationship advice subreddit by a throwaway account. The first post is titled, I am 41M, my wife 41F kissed another man on a night out. I wasn't bothered and now she's causing issues over it. Sorry if the title doesn't make much sense, I didn't know how to word it. Also, I'm on a throwaway account as I don't want this on my main. Context: we've been together since we were 18. We've never had a great life after the first year, maybe once or twice a year at most since then. At the moment, it's going on 3 years without much intimacy, and although it bothers me, I love her and I love our kids, so I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. I know plenty of friends in the same situation. Another bit of context is that I've always been mildly overweight but generally fit, as I played a lot of sports until about 10 years ago when I got really ill. A mixture of medications and comfort eating caused me to balloon up to nearly 300 pounds. Well, 2 years ago, I decided to do something about it. I'm now around 200 pounds, which at 6'2" is the lightest I've been as an adult. I've actually enjoyed using weights, and for the first time in my life, I have a bit of abs and some muscle. My wife, having always been far hotter, is pretty obviously insecure about the fact that, for the first time since we've been together, women are starting to look at me and message me on my baking pages on social media. For the record, I've never even looked at another woman in that way. On to the night in question. My wife went out with some friends, a mix of singles and those in relationships. She looked stunning and I told her so. I even updated my phone's home screen to a picture of her, LOL. One of the friends she was out with messaged me about 3 months ago, and the gist was that she knows I get no sex. My wife doesn't realize how lucky she is, and basically, does I want to hook up? I obviously instantly took a screenshot and sent it to my wife. Around 4 a.m., my wife got home and woke me up as she got into bed. I was half awake but could tell something was wrong, so I asked what the matter was. She didn't say anything for a few seconds, and as I went to grab her hand, she pulled away. I asked if she wanted me to get her a drink and she said no. Then she just blurted it out. I met a guy tonight, he kissed me. I didn't kiss back at first, then I did. For the next half hour, we were dancing and constantly kissing. She kept saying sorry and begging me not to leave her. My honest first reaction was, so what? It's only kissing and dancing. I didn't say that, I just hugged her and tried to calm her down. An hour or so later, once I got the right words in my head, I said, I know you feel really guilty, but please don't. I'm not going to leave you and break up our family over some kissing and dancing, and I don't love you any less than I did yesterday. This isn't something that's going to grow and cause resentment. More or less right on cue, my phone went off, and it was that friend of hers with a picture and a video of what my wife was doing. This set my wife off again, but my feelings still haven't changed, and a month later, that remains the case. In the month since then, my wife has accused me of not loving her because I didn't care. She's accused me of kissing other people and more, suggesting that I didn't care because I was covering up my own indiscretions. She's even accused me of being gay multiple times, which doesn't make sense. She keeps asking me why I haven't initiated anything with her, even though in the past, she's told me she hates being touched and not to ever try it with her, which I have respected. She's basically projecting, and it's annoying me as it's putting a strain on us, which she is 100% causing. How do I get through to her that she needs to stop feeling guilty and just move on because I have, as it's not a big deal? I was genuinely more annoyed when she broke my baking bowl and tried to blame it on the cat. TLDR, my wife kissed another man, I don't care, and now she's causing problems because she's guilty and projecting. How do I stop this? Edit, hi all, just wanted to say thank you all so much for taking the time to respond to me. I really do appreciate it, and I'm overwhelmed that you all took the time. I keep getting asked a few questions, so I thought I'd address them here. Over the years, we have been to a few different couples, counselors, and therapists, the latest being last September for both. My wife always feels like she's being victimized by them, and we stop going. Nearly all have said they think she is asexual, and 2 even said she is displaying a lot of signs of being a closeted lesbian, which I have brought up to her before, and she is adamant she's not. On that note, I've had a lot of messages saying she wants to feel wanted and for me to be more forward with her. This is not true. In all our sessions, she said she doesn't want me trying it on with her. She doesn't even want me to initiate hugs, and just bringing up makes her feel under pressure. She let me and our therapist know that if she ever has sex without her initiating, it will be no more than pity. As for people saying I don't love her, I buy her flowers every Friday on the way home from work. I bake her favorite cookies or cupcakes every weekend. I send her voice notes of songs I'm listening to that remind me of her. I tell her I love her every day, and I run her a bath every night. This isn't me showing off. This is how I was brought up to show love for those saying I must have been brought up in an unloving home. People have said that if I don't get jealous, I don't love her. If she told me she was having an emotional affair, spent hours on the phone with someone else laughing and joking, snuggled on a sofa eating chocolates and watching TV with someone, etc., I'd be devastated. A dance and a kiss aren't a big deal to me and not even close to divorce. Thank you all again for reading. Second edit, sorry for these. It's 7 a.m. here now, the day after I posted this. I've been talking to my wife since 6, and I said she's got a week to agree to go back to couples counseling and that she's got to stick it out this time and not just accuse them of taking sides and refuse to go back. She said no. She said they all bully her and make her out to be the bad guy. She said I went back on my word that I forgive her and won't resent her. I said this isn't about the kiss. It's about her reaction since the kiss and that it feels like she's purposely trying to drive me away and make me leave her. She just got up and stormed out of the room. She then got dressed and said she was going out until I went to work. Even though kissing isn't as bad as outright f***ing each other, I wouldn't brush this off so easily like how OP did. When OP's wife started accusing him of cheating, I got a sense of dread that she was projecting. This feeling was made worse when OP said that she made it clear that she doesn't like it when he initiates. This woman is dealing with a deep sense of insecurity and is in need of professional therapy. I'm not a huge fan of the saying, but if you're not the one giving it, she's getting it from someone else. Of course, we don't know all of the details, but OP cannot be without any blame. If he is improving his physical appearance and receiving interest from other women, he needs to make sure that his wife understands that he wouldn't cheat on her. But overall, I still feel that the wife is mostly in the wrong here. I sort of get the feeling that she is dealing with guilt that she kissed another man and is now struggling to deal with it even though it's out in the open. It really feels like she just doesn't like that she is no longer the undisputed more attractive one in the relationship. User Lazoo said, she's trying to sabotage the relationship and she's getting mad that you won't let her. Under this comment, OP said the following, that's the conclusion I'm heartbreakingly coming to. This hurts infinitely more than seeing her kiss someone else. Then under OP's comment, user Thrillium19 said, this is my immediate thought too. I had a relationship end this way. I was with a woman for over a year and it was one of the best relationships I had ever been in. We were great together and one day she asked me to move in with her. I was more than happy to. Then after about a month, she realized that she regretted her decision, but instead of telling me, she just became a completely different person and totally sabotaged our relationship to force me to be the one who ended it. We went from having daily to not at all. She went grocery shopping while I was at work, but only for herself. She went out with friends almost every night and never invited me along. Whenever I tried to talk to her about her behavior, she would say I wasn't trying hard enough, and if I didn't like it, I should just leave. I figured out what she was doing when she purposely left a bottle of cologne she had bought on our dresser. It was the same kind she bought for me, but I still had a lot left. When I asked her about it, she said it was for a friend. I left the next day. The kicker, she still got mad at me when I left because she couldn't afford rent on her own, and she was mad that she would also have to move. User The Great Honu said, did I read that correctly? She doesn't like being touched, but lets a man kiss her multiple times, and she reciprocates. They were also dancing, so I doubt there was any daylight between them. I imagine his hands were all over her, and she didn't mind. It sounds like she doesn't like to be touched by you, but is perfectly fine with being touched by someone else. Give her what she wants. Go talk to a lawyer, get your ducks in a row, then tell her you've done what she was looking for a reaction. Then, if you want to fix things, tell her you want to go to marriage counseling to see what her reaction is. Even without the lawyer thing, if you want this marriage to continue, you both need to go and see someone, as it doesn't sound like she is going to move past this anytime soon, and who knows why she is doing what she is doing. A throwaway account under this comment said the following, yeah, I get the vibe that maybe she was just never physically attracted to him and settled with him at the time because it was convenient in a way, and since he was less attractive compared to her, she felt superior and as if she were the prize. But now that he has become more attractive and is getting attention, she is feeling jealous and not as special as before and is insecure. Now she's trying to provoke a reaction just to see proof of his love and feel the sense of superiority she felt at first. Either way, I don't think she is really in love, even if she loves him. Part of why she felt more comfortable in the past is cause she felt like she never stood to lose him or the relationship because she was more attractive than him, so he would value her more, plus other women wouldn't be checking for him as much. Now that comfort has been taken from her and she doesn't know what to do with herself. It's very concerning. User Helios said, "What in the actual hell? Your wife kisses another guy and you have no feelings about it? I have to say, the fact that your wife turned it against you is brilliant. So instead of her apologizing profusely, she throws it back to you and say you don't care enough? Wow, maybe it's my caveman DNA talking, but I would have blown a lid if my wife told me she kissed another guy. I know some people have open relationships, but you never mentioned it, so I'm assuming you don't. Maybe she is right, maybe you don't care." About 2 weeks later, OP provided an update. It's been nearly 2 weeks since I made the post, and the short update is that we are getting divorced. I mentioned in my last post that I wanted us to go back to couples counseling and sex therapy. She said no to both as we went before, and she felt bullied. She said at sex therapy that unless she initiates touching, not just sex, but any touching like hugs or hand holding, it will be against her will and will be forced/pity affection from her. The sex therapist said that's very unreasonable, and that's why she felt bullied there. I tried to ask her a few questions too. Are you a lesbian or at least bi? Don't be stupid. Are you asexual? I'm not a teenager with a stupid label. What did he have that I don't? Nothing, I just wanted to do it. Why don't you ever want to do that with me? Don't know. What can I do to make you want to do that with me? Don't know. Do you want me to take the initiative and try it on with you more? No, I'll tell you when I want it, don't guess. So she refused the therapy and gave me no straight answers. She has also said I've gone back on my word about not letting the kiss split us up because now it is. I said it's not the kiss, it's your behavior since then that has caused me to want a divorce. She said since it's my decision to divorce and it's all my fault, then I should be the one to tell our kids, and she will have no part of it. That was hard. As soon as they were told, my wife left for her sisters, and in the 3 days since, I haven't heard anything from her. I've tried speaking to her about the kids as they miss her, but she reads my messages and ignores me. A lot of people asked about the friend and why they still talk after she tried it on with me. How I understand it is my wife tried to get the friend group to cut the friend out, but they all pretty much refused, so my wife just chose to ignore her in group settings. On the night in question, the friend approached my wife and told her if she didn't tell me, she would send me the video, so my wife didn't tell me because she felt guilty, but because she was forced. I've also spoken to a couple of other friends in the group and asked what's been going on that I'm not privy to. Apparently, my wife was sexting her friend's boyfriend a couple of years ago. My wife has also been boasting about how she has me under her thumb and that she gets away with giving me nothing, and I'm too scared to ask. The friend apparently saw me out shopping one day and decided I was now more and thought she'd try and exact some revenge on my wife. So she didn't really want me. I was just a pawn in this weird friend group, one of many internal beefs with each other, which I found out about in the last few days. Basically, they all seem to hate each other and mess with each other's partners. I'll be honest now, and I feel incredibly guilty about it, but when she left, my body and soul seemed to take a massive sigh of relief. It was like a black cloud that was dripping eggshells on the floor for me to constantly avoid has gone. I feel terrible for feeling this way, but I feel like I'm my 6'2" height now rather than a browbeaten 3-foot person who was scared to even say anything for fear of being told I'm wrong or insulted or ridiculed. It's like the blinkers have been taken off. I spent the day today baking with my kids, eating Easter eggs, and watching cartoons, and I haven't stopped smiling all day. I haven't winced or broken out in a sweat, worrying I'm about to be told off about being too noisy or watching the wrong thing on TV, or there's a rapper on the floor, etc. Thank you everyone for your support on my last post. I appreciate you all. I'm just so confused right now. Some people commented that OP's wife is trying to manipulate OP into ending the relationship himself, which right now might make the most sense because everything else makes zero sense. In therapy, OP's wife said that she didn't want OP to end the relationship because she kissed another man. OP made it clear that he wouldn't, but based on all the signals she's sending, it feels like she wants the relationship to end. She clearly doesn't want to have sex with the guy, and depending on the partners involved, I understand isn't the end all be all of a relationship, but it's still a major part of connecting with each other. I really have no idea what is going through this woman's mind. She doesn't want OP to see other women, yet she said she doesn't want the relationship to end, but then she goes and acts like she actually does want a divorce. User Fighting Keelbossa13 said, she doesn't want to take responsibility and is trying to manipulate you into the bad guy. You want to improve the situation and improve yourself from some outside help. She wants the status quo to remain and is blaming the medical professionals for making her confront the way she treats you. Covert narcissists. Look it up so you don't fall into that trap again. It may suck now, but your sanity should come back to you. You've been living in her mind games for a long time. User Throwaway Work said, she seemed to want a divorce without the responsibility of initiating one. Be careful, OP. I'm calling it now. She will be blaming you for your split to everyone who will listen. She's going through full cognitive dissonance and will become a horrible ex to justify her actions. I recommend you speak your truth honestly to people you care about and want to keep in your life so that if she attempts anything, people will back you up, not having heard some dramatic lies first from her. Also, it's important for people in your life to know what is going on so they can support you. User Icy Independence 2410 said, your wife kept saying people bullying her, but the fact that she is the bully here and playing the victim card. Don't let her do that to you anymore. Don't let her stomp on you anymore. You should leave this abusive relationship. User Eyepatch Kitten said, I remember how in the first week after separating from my husband, I had a sudden realization in the grocery store that I will be going home and no one will berate me for choosing to buy this or that. The relief and sense of freedom was a bit shocking because I had never before realized exactly the pressure I was under, many other small things as well, and bigger things towards the end. When you are past it, you see it so clearly that it's a wonder you put up with it for so long. Under this comment, OP said the following, that's so strange you say that. On Saturday, I bought some stuff to do some baking, and I must normally look like a right weirdo at the shop as I stand there arguing with myself if buying it is worth the hour-long berating and name-calling I'll get when I get home. I put some stuff in my basket, and as I walked away, I just stopped. I didn't feel right as I just put it in my basket without thinking. Then I thought, this is my life now. About a week later, OP gave us another update. Sorry for updating here. I'm only allowed to make one update on RA. I also want to thank everyone again for the concern and kindness they've shown me on my 2 posts. And thank you to everyone on Boru who made some lovely comments after my post was shared there. Unfortunately, the post was locked before I found out, so I couldn't thank you all personally. After my last update, a lot of people commented and messaged me to ask if I was sure my kids are mine. This thought never entered my head until I read what people said. Last Thursday, I ordered a paternity test, sent it Friday, and am awaiting the results. At this point, I don't really care. It won't change my love for them, but I'm terrified that if they come back as not biologically mine, I'll lose them. I discussed this with my lawyer last week, who said if they aren't mine, it will be much harder to get any kind of custody. I told him if it comes to that, then I'll keep fighting until the end. Blood or not, they are my boys. Speaking of the boys, my STBX has seen them a couple of times with her mom, who is genuinely a nice person, and the kids have been fine. I can't say the same about my baking equipment though. She came into the house last Friday when she knew I was out and took a lot of it, purposely breaking some items she knew had sentimental value to me that came from my grandma and my mum. I can't prove she did anything, and she brought the stuff back on Sunday, claiming she just borrowed the items, but I love baking, and she is slowly ruining it for me. I'd already deleted my Instagram page because she was insecure about the women who followed me, and this time she must have remembered I was making a cake for my niece's birthday and tried to sabotage it. I've made notes and screenshots of everything. As a lot of you rightly predicted, she had also been cheating on me a lot, although there's no evidence of it being physical yet from what I can tell. Her friend, who is also in this WhatsApp group where women basically just post nudes and men comment, I still need to get the details of this group so I can finally see some boobs again, sent me a lot more screenshots of photos she's taken all around our house, blatantly in her bedroom in some of them, and one even stood against my car. Also, a few of these friends are single, and when they hook up with someone, my wife will add the guy on Facebook and has basically been offering herself to them. One of the friends messaged one of the guys who still had the chats in his Facebook messages and sent the friend a load of screenshots to send to me. All in all, I must have over 100 screenshots of stuff she's been saying and sending to people, and all of that is within the last couple of years, so it probably goes on further. As for the divorce, we are still in the early stages. One day I want to fight. The next I want to give her everything, materially, not the kids, and walk away to start again so I can get this finished and done. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. It's nearly midnight here, but I'll try to stay up. User Jello Cup Conti said, sounds like she just liked you for the control she had. It seems as though in every aspect of her life, she wants control and is getting pleasure through knowing she can sleep with others and keep you on a leash. Glad you're going through with the divorce because that behavior doesn't change without a lot of individual and couples counseling. I'd say once the divorce goes through, sleep with that friend. It'll act as both a confidence boost and one last act of rebellion against her control. User Melodic Bath 7660 said, always stay strong OP. You should find some private space to put your personal things and, if possible, have security cameras in your house. So if he breaks in again, it will be recorded and hopefully it will help you in the divorce. You are a good person who is married to a malevolent witch. I hope you and your children can move forward and that you can take therapy to help your self-esteem. User Hot Echo in your area said, dude, how did you even endure this BS this long? From what I read, you were like the perfect husband. You did all that stuff and I am guessing she didn't appreciate or reciprocate anything. Please correct me if I'm wrong here. Or if she did show you some love, how was it so that it made you stay and show unconditional love to her? From reading that she was cheating on you that bad, I doubt it though. Fast forward another few days and we got another update, but before that OP did share that the test results said the kids are his. This update is titled, It's 6 a.m. here. My ex-wife had the kids last night and I'm drunk and lonely. The first night I'd had to myself in maybe 20 odd years and I didn't know what to do. I thought about getting someone around so I could finally have some physical interaction. Instead, I just sat on my own and drank for the first time in years too. Sorry for the boring post, I'm just lonely and wanted some affection. User Reds Rach said, totally here if you need to chat. It must be very daunting facing time alone for the first time in a long time, but it might get easier if you make a plan rather than finding yourself at a loose end. For example, you could try to rediscover things you've loved but lost along the way just because life is so busy. Are there things you used to love but no longer had time for? For me, it was horses and Lego, but they're kind of niche. Is there any music you particularly enjoy? Make a list of old stuff you used to enjoy and new stuff you'd like to try, and hit Amazon to make sure you've got anything you might need. Sooner than you think, hopefully, you'll start to look forward to these times as something just for you to recharge your batteries. Self-care is important. You're clearly a good guy, and taking this time for yourself will help you be even better for your kids. Sending lots of good wishes. User Mango Torn said, you got this. I have read your posts and you are a good man. What your ex did is not something that can be blamed on you. You can't control other people's behavior. What you can do is to focus on you and your kid, to give yourself the best possible conditions for a good life, and from my perspective, you are doing that. Just skip the drinking because it won't help anyway and is not good for your health. The best revenge against your ex is to live your life to the fullest, not have any outbursts, and show her that you can move on. Don't put yourself on her very low level. You are better than that. Let her make her own life miserable. You can live without her toxic behavior. You are a good man and you have a long, promising life ahead. Grow and become the best version of yourself. Make the best out of it. I know you can, I know you will. 1 month later, OP took to the relationship subreddit to make a new post. It's titled, I, 41M, haven't touched a woman since I became single. Last night, I thought I was having a movie night with a woman, 47F, but she wanted more, and I couldn't perform. How do I apologize for making her feel bad about herself? If you read my profile, you'll see that around 6 weeks ago, I left my abusive wife after realizing how bad she was. Prior to this, we hadn't had sex for 3 years, and when we did, there was no foreplay. I hadn't received or given oral in close to 20 years. It was always me on top and her telling me to go as fast as I could so I could climax quickly. There was also zero affection, no holding hands, no kissing, no hugging, no snuggling, nothing. We didn't even share a bed. Since becoming single, I have realized how much I missed this. I had basically suppressed this desire with my ex because I knew it was never going to happen. Since becoming single, it's like a switch has flipped and I realized there's a world of women out there. Some might want me to bake them some cakes and then we can snuggle up and watch some rubbish TV and I can play with their hair or stroke their back or whatever. After my original post on here, a woman started talking to me who seems lovely and I expressed these desires. She said she'd love to do that with no implications of anything more happening. She arranged to come around last night and we picked a movie. I made her a cake she said she'd like and I was all set. She arrived and it was the first time I'd really seen her. She was very beautiful and the couple of photos I'd seen hadn't done her justice. She told me she didn't drink alcohol, so I offered her tea, which she accepted, along with a slice of cake. The cake went over a treat, and she asked for seconds and then thirds, which was fine by me, LOL. After that, she suggested pushing my sofas together, getting a duvet, and getting under to watch a film. Then she said, or if you've got a TV in your bedroom, let's just go up there. Me being terrible at hints, I thought that was just a good idea, so I said yes. As soon as we got into the room, she just stripped off and got into bed, saying she felt bloated from the cake. She wanted me to sit up, and she would lay with her head on my lap while I stroked her back and played with her hair. I'll spare you the details, but I imagine you can guess what she tried to do pretty quickly in that position. My body wasn't up for it nor expecting it still at that time, which was stupid of me. Nothing happened. She then said maybe I was just nervous and started kissing me and rubbing herself against me. I felt terrible for her because she was really trying, but my body just wouldn't play along. She then got upset and said I'd made her feel ugly, and that crushed me, as that's exactly how my ex-wife always made me feel. She ended up getting dressed and leaving. I tried messaging her straight away to say sorry, but she must have blocked me as soon as she got in her car. Is this my life now? Can I not even have sex with someone? I'll be honest, I've only slept with 3 people before, and they were all relationships. I've never done no-string stuff. If she unblocks me, how do I apologize to her for making her feel bad? TLDR, was supposed to have a movie night. She wanted more, I couldn't perform, and I hurt her feelings. User, this could be massive, said 6 weeks is not enough time to process that amount of trauma. Be patient with yourself. It gets better, but you have to give yourself some time. Be upfront and say you just got out of a bad marriage and you need to take things slow. User Big Fire Truck 11 said, she not only crossed your boundary, but manipulated you into thinking she was the victim. You did nothing wrong, and it is more than acceptable to not be ready for 6 weeks after leaving your ex, and it is totally normal to not be able to perform, given the circumstances. You likely need to move on more before being ready to be intimate with another. Here are my 2 cents from my own experiences. When I left my previous long-term relationship and entered the dating pool, I was also uncomfortable and not ready to get intimate with someone else, but I wanted a connection. I communicated this, and it was respected by almost all women. Some did feel ugly or unattractive, which I understand. Ideally, you don't want to have these types of Netflix and chill style dates. They attract a certain type of person and suggest that you're open to those implications. Try and have more public dates, meals, drinks, activities such as mini golf or arcade, outdoor picnic, etc. It is not a bad thing to go out with people for the sake of building connections, finding your feet, etc. This is all part of the process. There will be experiences that are less than ideal, but you will find someone who respects your boundaries and or eventually someone that can help you become intimate once again. 1 month later, we got another update. I have moved back to my hometown and given my ex the house. I know people won't be happy with that, but I just wanted a clean break and no ties to her or that city. The kids are with me and see their mom at weekends, provided I make the 5-hour round trip to drop them off on a Saturday morning and then make the same trip on Sunday afternoon to pick them up. I know, again, people will say I'm doing what she wants, but if it makes my kids happy, it makes me happy. She seems okay with this arrangement, although she has flaked twice already. Once the kids say they no longer want to go, I won't take them. The divorce is still going through, but won't be done for a few more months yet, according to my lawyer. I'm baking a lot more now and loving it. Thank you to everyone who has thought about me. You are all so great. Another month later, OP made another post in the Relationship Advice subreddit. It's titled, My Ex 41F messaged me yesterday saying she no longer wants to see our 2 kids and is happy to give them away in our divorce. How to navigate mixed emotions. I posted here a few months ago. If you want to look at my profile, you can read about my wife kissing another man on a night out, despite not having had sex with me for years. I wasn't bothered and was willing to ignore it and carry on, but she kept making issues over it, and eventually we split up. I moved back to my home city about 2 hours away, and the kids came with me. My ex-wife said it was too far for her to travel to have them on weekends, so every Saturday morning I've been driving them up to her and then picking them back up Sunday evening so they get to see their mum. We'd make fun trips out of it and would take snacks, play audiobooks, have sing-alongs, etc. But I'd noticed they always seemed happier to be picked up than taken there. I just always assumed it was because all their stuff and their main home were with me. My ex has started to cancel these weekends a bit recently. She's canceled 3 of the last 5. She started to say things like, "They don't like me anyway, and you've poisoned them," which is not true. I have never said anything bad about their mom to them or in front of them and never would. Plus, I make 2 4-hour round trips every weekend so she can see them and they can see her. I'll be honest, every Saturday after I drop them off, I cry all the way home. I miss them so much. They are my little best mates. Every night after dinner, we all do our chores and then a different activity. Sometimes it's a walk in the woods behind my house, or we bake, have movie nights, or read books together. I'm quite good with my hands and love making and fixing things, whether it's baking, cooking, DIY, or car repairs, and they have started to take an interest too. So we have a couple of projects on the go, like building a kind of Wendy house for them, but it will have game consoles, a fridge for their drinks and snacks, etc. Plus, we are also building a couple of petrol go-karts from scratch for them to race at a nearby track when they are done, which they are designing themselves and we are building together. Basically, my life is taken up with them during the week, and then at the weekends, I feel like a lost zombie until it's time to go get them. Then yesterday, I received a short text from her saying she no longer wants to see them. All they do is ask for me anyway, they don't have fun there, and they basically get in the way. I was absolutely heartbroken for my boys, and I rang her straight away. I'll be honest, I started crying as I felt so bad for them, and she genuinely acted like I was annoying her for wanting to get to the bottom of it. She then said, "Sounds like you don't want them either and are just trying to palm them off at the weekends," and hung up on me. I don't even know how I'm gonna tell them this. Do I just say she's canceled for a few weeks and see how it goes? Do I tell them the truth? How do I say it in a way that kids will understand and won't absolutely crush them? Then I've got the conflicted, selfish emotion of pure joy that I'll have the whole weekend with them. It's so selfish of me, I know, as they are going to be sad while I'm happy. Has anyone been in a similar situation from my side or the kids' side? How do I handle this? TLDR, ex-wife said she no longer wants to see the kids. I'm sad for them and happy for me. How do I handle this? User Zealous Ideal Rip 630 said, "Don't forget child support. I hope you're receiving it and getting it adjusted based on the new custody agreement." Under this comment, user Helga the Viking 21 said, "Don't forget getting your kids into counseling. I know 2 boys who a very similar thing happened to, and despite having a happy life with their dad and his new partner, the pain of being deserted by their mom never left. It's still there and they're in their 30s now." User Bravado Fire said, "Lock that in quick. Talk to a lawyer and have her give up her parental rights." User Seekanet said the following under this comment: "I'd also be rethinking giving her the house, time to sell, and split the proceeds. Also, she can pay you child support, or you get a bigger slice of the house if you agree to her terminating parental rights, because the money is for your kids. The second order of business is therapy for you and the kids. Again, lawyer up so that there's money from the house for paying for this." User I La Luna said, "I grew up with a single mother and a pretty absent father. It took me a while to get where I'm at, but I'm actually really grateful for it. My mom is amazing. She truly made us her priority and was mom, dad, confidant, and best friend all in one. I didn't understand how much she'd given up for us, 3 daughters, until later in life, but I wouldn't have had it any other way. I learned to expect very little from my dad. I start from the assumption that I'm getting zero attention from him, and if he ever remembers we exist, that's a tiny little plus. It's a way to avoid disappointment by not expecting him to be someone he's not. So this is all to say, you're already setting the strongest foundations of love and support for those boys, and they will only be more solid with time and consistency. In my opinion, it's better to have only one amazing parent than to give half of your heart to one who will always make you feel a little bit unloved. Last thing, we've always had a policy of telling hard truths to each other in our household. My mom never badmouthed my dad in front of us, but she also didn't sugarcoat or hide reality from us. So if he canceled our weekends, she told us just that, without adding toxicity to it. We moved on and did something fun together instead. The honesty goes both ways, and to this day, I know the 3 of us trust her immensely. Sending hugs, you'll get through this." The most recent update was made just 4 days from the time of this recording. Quick recap. I split up with my wife a few months ago after she cheated on me on a night out. I was willing to stay, but she got upset that I wasn't more upset, and I had enough and left. I moved 2 hours away to my hometown and let her have the house. Our 2 sons came with me. I drive them to and from her house every weekend to see them, but she started canceling. Then one day she texted me saying she no longer wanted to see them and was happy to give them up in the divorce. As far as her giving up her rights as a parent, it's a lot harder than I thought. Both my lawyer and hers have told me that it's difficult to do this in the UK, and neither of them has seen a judge allow it unless there is a physical or chance of harm to the children. However, they have both also said they've never presented a case like this to a judge where both parties agree to it fully. They've drafted an agreement where we both agree that my ex-wife will no longer have responsibilities towards my children, including financially. Let's see what happens with that. I'm just waiting now to get a court date, but they said that can be months away. On to the hardest part, telling my kids. I'll be honest, I haven't. The first couple of weeks, I just said mom had canceled again when they asked, and the eldest in particular seemed pretty relieved at this both times. Last weekend, they didn't even ask. It's been over a month now since they've seen her. The eldest has also told me that he doesn't like going there anyway, as all she does is sleep and shout. He also told me the other day that he prefers his new house and feels more relaxed. I feel terrible, as I was obviously missing signs before that he wasn't fully happy when we were together as a family. At least he's more comfortable now. I had a bit of a wobble last night with my youngest though. He was watching The Land Before Time, and then he started saying he missed his mom and began crying. It was full-blown tears and breaking down, and it was awful to see. While I was holding him, I started crying, but I made sure he couldn't see. I didn't say anything bad about his mom or tell him she didn't want to see him anymore. I just hugged him, stroked his hair, and told him I'd always be here for him. He can always come to me if he's upset, happy, or just wants to be silly, and I'll never push him away. Once they were in bed, I was in pieces, blaming myself for leaving their mum. I questioned why I couldn't be stronger and live with it for a few more years until they were adults. It was me who left. It's me who's made them drive up and down the country every weekend. I've unsettled them and uprooted their lives. At 2 a.m. this morning, I drafted a text to my wife asking her to get back together and to be a mum again. Luckily, I didn't send it. I had about 3 hours of sleep, but feel better this morning. None of her family has been in touch either to try and maintain a relationship with the boys. It's horrible to be honest, but they are the ones missing out on these 2 amazing kids. One of her cousins messages me every so often, but she asks more about me than the kids, so that either feels like an ulterior motive or a trap, which I'm not falling into. As for my divorce, my lawyer has said it should hopefully be finalized before Christmas. Not that it'll make much difference. I don't wear my ring, and she has a new 20-year-old boyfriend, not the guy she cheated with. It will be nice though to finally be able to say ex-wife and have it be official. TLDR, not much success with the kid's mum dropping responsibilities officially. The kids seem a bit happier. User Fjordgard said, the kids need therapy to help them work through this. Maybe telling them together with a therapist that their mom won't see them again might be the best approach. That said, it feels like your ex already basically did tell them in a show don't tell way. It sounds like their stays with her weren't exactly fun, and she didn't try to engage with them at all. She already made them feel not wanted. Still, hearing it and making it a finality will hit them very, very hard, and that's why therapy is so important. Nevertheless, it will be good when it's over, not just for you, but also for the kids. Seeing their mother so rarely with her canceling and disappointing them over and over is a lot worse than no contact at all. It will be very hard in the beginning, but they will settle into their new normal once it becomes truly the norm, and there won't be any more disruptions by them having to spend time with a mother who doesn't want them. User Jay the Ford Man said she'll be back. After she's had her fun with toy boys and playing the fun single stuff, she'll start to miss her kids. And that's when your hard work will really start. You will have to prepare yourself to make the hard decisions and decide if a deadbeat mom is entitled to just come waltz back into your kid's life at some point in the future after all the hard work repairing her wreckage. User Sillyman Billy said, just want to say that you're a great dad. It's absolutely heartbreaking how someone can parent their kids for years and then do this. If you think that she's going through a tumultuous phase and there's a chance that she will grow the hell up and become a bit more stable and show interest in being a mom again later in the future, you could carefully and slowly work with her to reintroduce her. But after what she said and done, to me, it would really require a lot of effort on her end. She should be the one driving really far to reestablish the relationship, not you if she does wake up and grow up. Sick situation, brother. Hope it gets better for you and all involved. Your kids are lucky to have you though.